so before you need to make a choice to say I'll use bonds or I'll use debentures, what factors do you consider? So you look at those four factors. One, availability. So between a bond and debenture, which is easily available? Duration. How long do I need uh, the loan? Choice of then also you look at choice of rates. Is it fixed or floating rates? Then you also go for security and covenants. So what's the security of the loans and what are the covenants that are in place? So those are the factors that you consider when you're trying to choose the debt finance. So that's all on debt finance. Let's move on to another source of finance. Another source of finance is lease, long-term lease. We looked at lease before, but that was short-term. So here you can lease out your assets for a long period of time and earn rentals. So you're struggling financially as a business, but you need money, and maybe you have a tractor. So you can lease out a tractor for 5 years and earn significant amount of money. So this is somehow like a finance lease. Now the one who has borrowed the asset, we call him as the lessee. He's the one that's going to suffer the risks as well as enjoy the benefits of the asset, because it has transferred to him or her. So these funds, the advantage of long-term lease is that the funds are legally available if the asset is in good condition. If the asset is in good condition, you have the funds. However, the funds may not be adequate to finance business operations. So you might find that you are leasing your assets, but you don't have the funds that you require to run your business. We have got other new sources of finance which are coming out, right? Funding, which you have never heard of it before, maybe it's your first time. Now, crowdfunding is when you go online and look for investors. So you go online to say, I have this business, I need funding. So we call that as crowdfunding. So crowdfunding, based on the book, it says it's a way for the company to raise finance online from many investors to decide whether to invest. So this source of finance known as crowdfunding is becoming very common for everyday finance. Why is it becoming common for everyday finance? It's because nowadays internet technology makes it possible to reach a large number of potential investors. So you can get as many investors as you want on the internet. Advantage of crowdfunding is that in terms of finance, it helps us out raise money. So if you are very like on the internet, you can raise a lot of money. Then awareness, you can attract customers and investors easily because on the internet. And speed, about 30 days you may raise the funds, provided you are able to write a good proposal and it makes sense, your business makes sense. Now, if you have undertaken crowdfunding, there are some costs which you are going to suffer. The first cost is a fee. So that we have got crowdfunding sites. So if you want to open a business, maybe you might be interested in this crowdfunding, you are going to pay a fee to the crowdfunding site. 2, there will be legal and advisory costs. Maybe you need lawyers, some advisors, they will charge you money. There will also be administration costs of dealing with investors who will request for more information. So maybe we need this document, go to the chief. You have to pay money in all those areas. So those are the costs of crowdfunding. Alright, so that's crowdfunding. Questions on crowdfunding?
No question.
Okay. Let's move on to peer-to-peer lending. This is also another new source of finance. So peer-to-peer is similar to crowdfunding, but here in peer-to-peer, what you do is you still use internet platforms, and your aim is to match lenders and borrowers. Okay, so what it means is you just join certain apps on the internet, and It's either you can find a borrow online. So you write down, I'm James, I need 1 million to fund my business. Then there will be another person who will be saying, I'm John, I have 1 million to fund the business. So they're going to match you too because you have the same interest. So we call it as peer-to-peer lending. So this is suitable for only established business, not businesses that are just starting out. So how does it operate? So peer-to-peer lending operates as follows. So platforms will be checking accounts and credit history. Then they'll offer fixed rate or bid-based loans. So the various platforms that we have, they'll be checking your accounts to say, what's your credit history? Do you pay back? They will consult banks and they'll find out more about you. So here what will happen is that there'll be a lot of small lenders. They'll be lending maybe $100,000, something like that. So there'll be many small lenders that will be participating. And these platforms are mostly regulated by FCA. They are mostly FCA regulated. So it means mostly they will be for certified accountants. So if your business is undertaking such forms of lending, you should be a certified accountant. Advantages of peer-to-peer lending is that there will be lower costs. So interest rates and fees that you pay on the websites are very low and very fast. So you can get loans very quickly as compared to banks, and they're easily accessible. So even those lenders which have got weak credit ratings, they might easily get such loans. Okay. We also have initial coin offering. This is also a new source of finance which you should be aware of. Initial coin offering, ICO. So the ICO is similar somehow to initial public offer, but it is more based on technology. You now have got new issues coming up known as cryptocurrency. So the initial public offer, what it does is that it will be raising finance by selling tokens for cryptocurrency. So I've got something known as cryptocurrency, where you trade in currency and you're making money in that currency. So that's known as an ICO. So it's mostly used for a new blockchain-based projects. So those projects which are in chains, they depend on one another. For example, you need to fund. In Mali we have USAID, for example, and USAID used also to fund other NGOs. So that's a blockchain. So if you're a company which would like to fund other companies, then an ICO was the best. So cryptocurrency values are highly volatile. So cryptocurrency, just like the way shares are, their values will be changing now and again. Then these initial coin offerings now face stricter security rules. So they have got very strict rules. Why? Cryptocurrency, many people are losing millions in cryptocurrency. I hope somebody has approached you to Facebook. Have you ever heard of cryptocurrency? Start trading now, you'll be a millionaire. So some people become millionaires, some lose out. So that's why there are very stringent controls available on initial coin offering. Then we have green finance. Green financing is also a new source of finance which has come into force. So as the name says, green finance, it's a form of finance which ensures that as companies we are sustainable and we deliver benefits to the environment. Okay, so we are saying green finance is a source of finance that channels money into projects or businesses that deliver environmental benefits. In Malawi, we have BIM, a first lady. It's there to ensure that the environment is protected. So banks can be offering green finance so as to help protect the environment. Advantages of green finance will be appreciated later. However, the most forms of green finance which are common in the world are pollution reduction, maybe supporting clean energy, maybe in terms of, instead of using electricity, we can use wind generation. Instead of using solars, we can use clean energy such as wind. Then also cutting carbon emissions such as beam. I was talking about beam in Malawi. So green finance is into 5 forms. There is green loans, sustainability linked loans, green bonds, green funds, and social bonds. So what are they? Let's start with green loans. So green loans will be used specifically to fund environmental friendly projects such as wind farms or clean energy projects. In Malawi, in Shikangawa, the German government wanted to implement wind electricity. So that's green loans. Then we have sustainability linked loans. So these are loans which we are provided with. However, there will be a condition attached to say, if this loan leads to sustainability targets, then we'll give you a discount. For instance, if a company lends money to an institution to say, we'll give you 10 million to this institution, and if this loan will benefit more people for the next 10 years, then we'll charge you less interest. That's sustainability linked loans. Then green bonds. So green bonds are those bonds which are given out if you are providing environmental friendly projects. So similar, closer to green loans. Then we have green funds. So green funds, similar to green bonds and green loans. However, if you have got strong social standards as well, so it means you take care of the needs of the society. So no pollution, people are employed, and the environment is clean. That's a green fund. So it's similar to green loans and bonds, only that here now you include social, so the people. Finally, we have social bonds, which are similar also to green funds. So these are bonds which are used to finance projects that address social problems and improve social outcomes. So the social problems are unemployment and also pollution. And also social outcomes, for example, orphanages. So you are trying to help the orphans, the sick people. So if you have such bonds, we call them as social bonds. So green loans have principles. One, how you are going to use your proceeds, how you are going to select your projects, how you are going to manage your proceeds, and how you are going to report. So we should appreciate these principles one by one. For instance, how you are going to use your proceeds. You can say, when you are given these green loans, for instance, make sure that money must be used for green projects with clear environmental benefits. So these benefits should be for environment, not your own benefit, but for the environment. So explain in your reports how this loan is going to benefit the environment.